in honor of hip-hop birth month, we have in the house the legendary Cutmaster DJ Cool V himself. Good evening, sir.
Yes. Glad to be here.
I've read both of your books, and
Yes.
I want to really raise awareness of these books because they're very important, not only for history, but the philosophy, the humor, everything that you've got wrapped up in these two books. So can we start with the Symphony?
Yes.
I'm going to get your thoughts on the first book first, from 2016. The first thing I noticed in there that you put not only your reflections in there, and I've got pages marked, oh my gosh, I could recite. But if we start from the beginning, you started out talking about when you were 15 years old.
With most books, people really, think they're about your whole life, and really the Symphony is much more than that. It's just about the inspiring people that I came across during my journey. So when I do my memoir, you'll get more of my day-to-day thoughts and all of these things like that, and things were going on and things that were going on simultaneously at the time. But with the Symphony, me and the writer Lucio Dutch, who is maybe going to go down in history as maybe one of the greatest hip-hop writers of all time, and I don't even want to limit it to hip-hop, one of the greatest writers of all time. It's like he gets it, and he knows exactly how to put my words in the proper context, my feelings, my emotions, everything, it just flowed out. So Symphony was really like, it was testing ground, but it's actually a work of art. I'm not even tooting my own horn. It's just like, it's nothing out there like that.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Yes.
Even the way you start the book, you started with the Cool V New Jersey Minute, and
yes,
that first.
To.
Oh my gosh! I want to read the first paragraph. Both are just as powerful as each other, but I want to read this first paragraph so they can get a flavor.
Yes.
We are bred to survive in only a fraudulent space where critical reflection is criminal. True love is a poisonous repellent, and therapy is a death sentence. Sincerity becomes foreign, and our existence so uncomfortable. We struggle with acceptance. The barracuda in us celebrates bondage, has reservations about adulation, and no knowledge of how to receive a gift. We are socialized to view one another as disposable and to forget. Erase your memories because they have no value unless acknowledged by the dominant society. But I refuse. I love that.
Hey, listen, it's everything summed up so well. It's so eloquently written by my brother Lucio Dutch. Listen, like I said, I got a lot, writing this book was therapy for me. The Symphony was therapy because I never in my life imagined me ever having a book. I didn't even think that my life was, I don't know the word to use right now because it's just so many words running through my mind. I didn't even think my life was worth reading about for anybody.
Wow.
That's just the space I was in at that time when the book we were talking about, he wanted me to make a book at an earlier date. Yo, you need to really start your life journey and jotting it down and you need to, your journal, your story. Nobody really knows it. And I'm thinking, why don't they? I've done a couple things in hip hop. So when you really look at it, you know what I'm saying? I think that hip hop wise, I'm looking at everybody should know. And then life wise, I'm saying people that know me know, but I'm thinking on a small level. I was thinking on such a small level. I mean, this book right here the Symphony has been sold around the world. Mm-hmm. And people have gave me great reviews. I've never received one bad review about the Symphony. Only bad thing they say is it should have been longer. But the book was what it was, and it was what it was for. It was a lot of inspiration that didn't make the book because it just wasn't meant to go past the 18 chapters, Right. And numerically, that's for a reason. So all of the, it just added up right. The book just added up right. The chapters added up right. And each chapter is about somebody that I really care about and love in my life. That's it.
And the accolades are incredible too. The love that you show your heart all the way through the book. And to me, that is, you don't even know it in yourself. It's a rare thing. It's the positivity that you, not only in your books, but in life, you give lessons and that positivity, and it means a lot. There's not enough of it. That's why we appreciate you.
You have to make a choice. You have to choose. And you can float around for the rest of your life if you want to, but at some times you're gonna have to make the hard stand. What do you stand for, positivity or negativity? And that's just it. Just simple as that. Just let that negative go, man. Like we all there ain't nobody perfect. There are no perfect people in the world. But if you get to the side of yourself that's moving in the light, you will be a little bit more prepared for what life has to offer you.
Yeah.
Stay on the other side. It's gonna be something else, and you ain't ready for all of that. You drawing the negativity towards you because you out here playing with it. You can't play with negative things.
That's true. You expressed the hardships you had as well, just to get to where you are now. This is something that they also need to hear, the fact that it doesn't get handed to you on a plate.
Nah. Yeah, and we've all got hard time stories. We are not a rich people. We're rich in essence. We're rich in all the other things, but we're not rich in money. So we suffer. You know what I'm saying? Every day is a struggle. You're out here grinding. You're trying to get the ultimate goal. But what is the ultimate goal? And that's where you have to start looking at your life and take the money out of it. How do you survive without the money? Then life will really open itself up to you, because it is a way to survive without the money. We, as a people, survived before there was money made. I got a skill, you got a skill. We get together, we build. I use you for yours, you use me for mine. Now we both got two skills. And add the third person, and the fourth person, and the fifth person. See? It's easy as that. We all eat. You got corn, I got potatoes. He got cows. You see? It's just that simple. It's just that simple. When you really get down to the essence of life, it's not that hard. People make life hard. Life is very, very simple, not complicated.
When did it start turning to? Yeah, exactly. And when did it start getting to where the money took over people's minds as opposed to the art and the getting together? I know in the early days of hip hop, it was more about survival and entertaining each other and just forgetting the way that things were, or passing messages and things like that. But when did it get taken away by the mainstream?
I don't think. That's a very great debate, and people they will argue it on both sides. I'm not going to argue about that anymore, because I've learned that I wasn't there in the beginning of what they call hip hop as they know it, because it's becoming every day a realization that they told us things. We got inspired by the foundation. The foundation inspired us. We took that, we experimented, and we brought it to something else, and then it went to something else. And that, as it should, everything has evolution. And now that we're looking at a lot of the founders of hip-hop are not really agreeing on the steps that we're taking to create this thing. So I'm not getting into that conversation about that. For me, I'm glad my history is more on the record side, because you can date the records and you can know absolutely when the record was made. And, before that, I was doing whatever I was doing. I was always a DJ. I was a DJ since 11 years old. So I just take those inspirations. I tell everybody, if you look at on my website, I was inspired by the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, because they were rhyming about the DJ. And that record just opened me up to want to hear more from them and anybody else that was talking about the DJ, because I was a DJ and I didn't have nobody talking about me. So I just wanted that, you know, and that made me just fall in love with the culture, you know what I'm saying, the way, you know, whatever was going on, looking for records and all the things that go with it. So I just love hip-hop. I love everybody that's down with hip-hop, and that's it. I'm not getting into no negatives about it. I'm just getting into the positives because I'm on a whole nother thought process right now.
Amen. Yeah.
I know I took it around the world for a little bit, but I had to do it that way.
Well, I understand that. I have to say one thing, though. God bless Uncle Dougie.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them a little bit about your early days being taught that you had to hone your craft, that you had to work at it.
Yeah, we could. My uncle, you know, he was a well-known DJ in Long Island and New York City, and he just DJ'd everywhere. I was somewhat of a DJ because I did house parties, but I didn't have the equipment that he had. My father was living in Florida at the time. He had equipment, but I was using what I had to do a party, and that was a hi-fi and an 8-track tape. My uncle had 2 turntables and a mixer and everything like that, and I'm looking at him and like, yo, I want to play with that. And he's like, nah, you ain't ready for that yet, you know. So, you know, and as the years would go by, he heard me practicing when I did have my own stuff, and he was like, yeah, you ready, you know, and he took me around and showcased my talent in the beginning when, you know, I didn't really have the ways to get around, you know, and get to the other audiences. So I thank them for that. I thank both of my uncles for that and my father, because my father's a DJ and my 2 uncles are DJs, and still to this day. So
and it's,
what it is.
Yeah. Another thing that inspired me about your book was all the people that you met. It's like threading through your story. The people who recognized potential in you and encouraged you, and the fun that you had, and the people that you met that weren't so nice. The story, you have everything in there. It's a beautiful thing to hear that you had that support, and the people who saw potential, because there's a message there that this is the kind of thing that we need to be encouraging in each other. To, you know, I see potential in you. Let me give you a little support and push forward, that kind of thing. To be able to see this going on nowadays is kind of rare, and we need to, like, build each other up.
Yeah. And, you know, before I even get into anything, they can go get the Symphony and DJ Kool V, Never Sleeps, at djkoolv.com, you know, and just go to the website, check it out. And like I said, everything I do now gets put back into the young ones. You know, I just want to pass that information. I want to do my part to try to keep the movement going and get more people on the positive side of thinking. That's it. But what was the question again? Yeah, back to the book, as far as all the people that I met and all the inspiration. But the book shows you that it's people right around you that you're really not listening to, that is in support of you. But all you see is the people that's hating on you. See, as a society, we're quick to point out the people that's hating on you. Oh, they hating on me. They don't want me to do this. And you start thinking negatively because, you know, that's the way society moves. But there are people right there saying, yo, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. Yo, why don't you do this? Why aren't you doing this? And they will help you if you just did it at that time, but you're really not seeing where they're thinking about, because sometimes people see more in you than you see in yourself, unfortunately, you know. So I learned the hard way. That's why that book shows you the lessons when I listen to people, and it shows you the lessons when I didn't listen. You get the yin and the yang, you know.
Yes. To all my listeners, please go and get this book and read it thoroughly, and then go and get the second book, because that just came out this year. Tell them the name of the current book.
The current book is DJ Cool V Never Sleeps. And with the Symphony, if you live in Queens, New York, and you don't have enough money to buy the Symphony, whatever, and it's not, I'm not saying, you know, I don't know anybody's, you know, pocket or whatever. You could go right to the Queens Library, Queens Central Library, and just take it out. You know, you don't have to pay for it. You can read it, and that's a blessing right there. Big shout out to Queens Library, Ralph McDaniels, and everybody over there that helped me out and helped me promote that book. You know, on the new book, I'm moving in a different light, because the DJ Cool V Never Sleeps is more of a piece of history, like a collector's item. It's a collector's item. First and foremost, it's the story behind the making of the Just a Friend album, which is called The Diabolical Biz Marquis Never Sleeps. So I'm giving you the wording, I'm giving you the scene, I'm giving you the emotion, I'm giving you the story behind making that album, because I'm, you know, the only other person that can tell this story. But really, I'm the only person that can tell it from my point of view, because even Biz knows that I was in the studio every day with him and without him, you know what I'm saying, recording this album. You know, Biz ain't staying in the studio for that long. That's just him. He'll give me the ideas of what he want to do and let me get ready for him to come in, and then he come in and knock it out, and he's gone. So it's a lot of situations and things like that. It's the real, true story behind that album. So it's a collector's item, and it has a bonus book in it, a picture book of the Juice Crew. There is no other book in the world that has pictures of the Juice Crew, all of us in the same book. No book you can find anywhere.
An incredible book, and the stories behind it they had me laughing, and they had me almost crying in some places. But I had to even would bring the book in to show my daughter, because she is an absolute fan, especially of Just a Friend, and she can recite all the words. And I showed her the behind the scenes of it, and how you were trying to get the instrumental together for it, according to how Bismarcky was telling you he wanted it.
The one and only Bismarcky.
Love him. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and there's a little quotes in there as well that, I mean, and the synergy and the love and the camaraderie between the two of you, the brotherhood and all that. There was something on page 27 where you said, the two of us made a concerted effort to give individuals their flowers while they're still physically alive. The aim was to show that we genuinely, the aim was to, I can read my own writing, to show people we genuinely cared on every album.
Yeah. You know, like, we were really free to do what we wanted to do on the second album, because we were doing it ourselves. So it was more of just me and Biz in that album, but we still had a lot of people that helped us complete that album, like 45 King, Danny Dan, and, you know, even Jungle Brothers and Tribe Called Quest, Large Professor, you know, a lot of people, you know, really, like, inspired us on that album, because we were all hanging around at that time. Super Lover C, Casanova Rudd, Nice and Smooth. Like, these are people that actually were sitting in the studios when we were recording it. So it's like that inspiration to, you know, just make an album that your peers approved of.
Yeah.
While
well,
you're making it, you know. Yeah. And then I had to reach back and pull Big Daddy Kane on that. You know, I had to get that. I had to get that, because I had to finish the album, and Kane knows Biz better than anybody, so I had to pull that in. You know, so all of these things, I had to pull the elements, I had to pull the strings and sew that fabric right together, and you know, it was our best album to this day. You know, as far as the sales is concerned, you know, it's selling more. It's still selling.
Yeah.
So. I'm not getting any royalty checks, but it's still selling though. But you know.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to bring up, which is it's a shame. It really is a shame. But also the fact that how long it took your peers to understand that you knew what you were doing, and because they weren't too sure it was, you know, it was as good as it was.
They weren't too sure about the just a friend. They was more like, are you really going to let Biz sing this? And I said, do you see how he's singing it? Do you see the feeling? You know, and look at it. You got to go
really
with feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling is everything. You know, if you got somebody that believes in you and they feel that you can make it and you feel that you can make it, you're supposed to take that chance. There is no such thing as failure, because if you don't get it that day, don't mean you're not going to get it tomorrow. It just do it, man. That's the story of that record. That sums it up better than anything. That, you know, it's just a record that it was destined to be.
Sure was.
And look at
and
it
reaches so many generations, right?
Yeah. Little kids know that record right now. They don't know nothing else we made. They know that record.
Well, still, you know, they'll learn more. It might just bring their curiosity to keep. Hey, I know that. I know who that is. You know. So.
Mhm.